Okay. This is not supposed to be this insane. Is your gold balance looking a little bit too similar to your bank account balance? If so, then allow me to help. Today, I'll be showing you exactly how you can make hundreds of thousands of gold, insane amount of divines, while barely putting in any effort into your maps. So let's begin. First, you need 4 2x2 idols with explicit modifier effect per mod and per map quality. 3% is best, 2% is okay too. Then you need 4 1x3 idols with pack size while effective fortune favors the brave and explicit modifier effect. Do not buy these off of trade, just go and recombinate them by watching my previous video on how to recombinate idols. Then you need 3 1x1 idols with influence monster pack size and chance for tier 115 maps to become 1 tier higher, and 1 singular focus. After that, you want to focus on your maps. So we will be running this in tier 17 maps. However, there is a budget tier 16 setup that I will go over afterwards. But for your tier 17s, you want to have at least 100% more maps with as much quantity and pack size as possible. You need a minimum of 100% more maps. If you get more than this, it's amazing. 150% more maps will be a massive difference compared to 100%. So if you want to roll your maps heavier, you can. But for the purposes of this video, I'm only going to roll them up to 100%. You can also put Delirium on this. I did not for this showcase, but if you do put Delirium, you will get even more maps and even more gold. For your Scarabs, you'll be running Cartography Scarab of Corruption, Cartography Scarab of Multitude, and a Cartography Scarab of Escalation. These 3 are because we are adding in so many monsters into the map already that we need a way to farm actual currency and not just gold. So I found the best way to do that would be to just farm maps. We don't need to farm Scarabs, we don't need to farm any high tings of loot. We can just farm consistent loot per map so that we know we're getting a bunch of gold per map and we're getting a bunch of loot per map that is actually worth something. So the monsters from the Multitude Scarab get scaled by Lineage, and Lineage gets scaled by Bloodlines. All good stuff. All of these Scarabs are 1C each, so they're not expensive at all. However, Bloodlines is the most expensive one at 30C per Scarab. So that is the most expensive one, but trust me, it is going to be worth it in the end. Probably. However, on the budget setup, if you can't run tier 17s, on tier 16s, you will not be using Bloodlines. You will replace Bloodlines with a Influencing Scarab of the Hordes, and you will replace the Multitude Scarab with a Influencing Scarab of the Elder. And also on the budget setup, you will not be using 5% map quality because you'll be running a 8 mod tier 16 with 0% quality on it. So quality won't matter at all. So just get 3% increased effect of explicit modifiers on your 2x2s, and that's it. If you can get 3% with pack size, great. If you can't, if you're too broke, then just go for 3%. If you're even more broke, don't take pack size while affected by force favors the brave. Just go for 12% or 11% increased effect of explicit mods, and that's it. For your 1x1s, they still say the same. Steering exile pack size, and chance for maps to become 1 tier higher, and that's it. Same with singular focus. When you aren't using Fortune Favors the Brave idols, then you won't be using that on your map device either. So instead of that, just add Domination or Delirium or Beyond. Beyond is 5C per craft, but if you want to add it. It does give you more gold. Or just add Quant if you're super broke and you want to farm some currency first before you go into tier 17s. Another thing you can do is you can swap out one of your flasks for a gold flask to get even more gold, because gold scales with rarity, so having one of these would be pretty nice. However, it is not necessary. If you can't fit this into your flask bar, then don't, but if you can, great. That's enough talking. I'm going to do one map, or half a map, because tier 70s take a while to do, and I'm not going to make this video too long. So one map, just to show you guys how one map should look and what you can expect while running this. So in the map, you can see I'm just killing monsters. This is a slower start than it usually is. Usually it's instant rain of maps and gold everywhere, but it should pick up the pace eventually. Here, maybe, yeah, here we go. So this is what a map should look like. Every single blue pack that you see should just drop at least 1 to 4 to 5 maps, and that's it. You go in here and you just kill monsters. You don't do any lead mechanics. You don't kill any rogue exiles. You don't have to kill the boss either. You don't have to do any expeditions, nothing. Here I am doing a breach because breach is just good because I have a ton of pack size. And all these breach monsters just have the chance to drop me more maps and more gold. So why not? Breach is pretty fast anyway. So is Legion. Those are the only two lead mechanics that I would do if I see them. Breach and Legion, and maybe Ritual if there were a ton of monsters that spawn inside the Ritual. I would do it. Otherwise, I would skip it. I'm not going to loot any of the maps right now because I'm trying to talk. If I loot maps, it'll make the map longer, and I want to keep this video as short and clear as possible. Here you can see on the map, I see where the boss area is. Now, if I wasn't recording, I would go into the boss area, I would kill the boss so that I would get more quant and map duplication altars. Those are the best ones for this strat. Ignore everything else, prioritize map duplication first and quant after that. Besides that, if you have something else, just take whatever you feel like taking. I'm not really going to turn this Legion on because I just want to be quick. Legion isn't that worth it. Breach is worth more, in my opinion. It's faster too. There's also Jun in my map, unfortunately. She does not need to be there. She's only there because one of my idols had her on it. I can't escape her. She's always chasing me. If it's not her, it's Einar. But I would rather take Jun than Einar. But that's mostly it. It's just kill a bunch of monsters, pick up a bunch of gold, pick up a bunch of maps. You will also find a bunch of Scarabs doing this. Right now, my loot filter is hiding most of them, most of the cheaper ones anyway. So you're not seeing any on screen. But if your map has more maps and more Scarabs rolled onto it too somehow, then be ready to find a bunch of Scarabs. Some very good ones too. You might even hear some tinks in Scarabs. Okay then, well, I'm dead. Good point to end on. Half the map is done. You got the gist of it. Now I will go finish the rest of the map and the remaining 4 maps, and I will be back to show how many maps I actually farmed and how much gold I got. So I know I got 55k gold just from running half a map, so it looks pretty decent. Okay, so I'm done with the remaining 4 maps and the half map that was left. And I have an insane amount of maps. Like, I was not expecting to get this many maps in just 5 maps. This is 326 8-mod corrupted maps, which is absurd. And I'm like 23 of these are toxic sewers because one of my favorite map was toxic sewers. Just for me to see how many I would get. Found a bunch of Scarabs as well, some pretty decent ones in here. Found a glittering Scarab that was a tink. Found some Uber fragments from the boss, obviously. I only kill her thrice. You don't have to kill her at all. You can just ignore her completely. Some random uniques, a Wraith Lord, some void cards, and this random book that I'm gonna delete. Okay, and I was not expecting this at all. Not even a little bit. This way exceeded my expectations. I was ready to farm like 100 maps, maybe 150, maybe some Scarabs. A little bit like I knew the gold would be nice, but I was not expecting the maps to be this nice. And along with like the amount of Scarabs I ended up getting too, that I didn't even pick up half of them because I just didn't really care about doing multiple trips in and out of the map. But even if you exclude all of this, no Wraith Lord, no Scarabs, no nothing, there's still 600,000 gold almost, which is more than 1k gold per map. It's like 125,000 gold per, and I don't even roll them a crazy amount. I just roll for maps. If you roll your maps even better, you'll get even more gold. But that's all for now. I'm now going to just check exactly how much these maps are worth. I'm not going to include the Scarabs or anything. So here we are in the TFT Discord looking at 8-mod corrupted maps. This guy's selling City Squire maps, 12 maps for 1 div, or 10 maps with the regex, 10 div for 1 map with the regex. That's the general price, it seems. There are someone selling delirious maps as well, but the price of them seems to be the same, whether they're delirious or not. So let's see. I spent around 80C per tier 17 map. So we're at 5 maps, so that's 400C. And as I said, all the Scarabs, beside the Bloodline Scarab, were 1C each. So I used 4 different Scarabs, 1C each, for 5 maps. So that's 20C. And each of them, again, were 1C each. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I am, I guess. And the Bloodline Scarab was 30C. So 30 times 5 is 150 plus 20, and then the plus 400 for the maps. So 570C was how much I put in to buy all the stuff. Divide that by 160, that's 3.6 div invested in. Now, how much did you make? 326 maps. Let's say we sell them for 15 maps for one div. That's 21.7 divs for all of them, which is pretty decent. Subtract the amount we spent. That's 18.1 divs total profit. How much time did it take me to run all 5 maps? That's where it gets a little bit crazy. So it took me 5 to 6 minutes per map. T17s are a bit slow. I have to, sometimes it's slower, like 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes, sometimes it's faster. If I didn't kill the boss at all, it might have been even faster, but let's say 10 minutes. 10 minutes for the slowest build possible. That's 0.8 hours, which is 50 minutes, 0.8 hours, so divided that by 18.1, we get 22.6 div an hour. That is pretty insane. I was not expecting to make that much. I thought I would make like maybe 14 to 15 div an hour, which would be humble, along with a bunch of gold being the main focus here. But apparently not. Apparently, if you take 10 minutes a map, if you're a slow office worker or a boomer or whatever, or a very casual player with a very mediocre build, 22.6 div an hour. However, you already saw how fast my build was. My build was already pretty humbly slow. So, and I did it in 5 minutes, but let's say 6. 6 minutes for 5 maps, that's 30 minutes. That's half an hour. So 18.1 divided by that is 36.2 div in an hour. I didn't even spend an hour, I spent half an hour. So it's pretty insane. I thought I would just get some gold, but I ended up getting gold and a massive amount of maps. Editing tea from the future here. I just put my maps for sale for like 15 maps for one div or 10 maps for a div with a regex. And I got absolutely spammed. People are sending me their regexes, people are DMing me in game. So that's insane. I didn't think it would be this fast, but I'm going to go through these and see what happens. 5 more. Okay then. 6 more. Okay, so I ended up farming a few more maps because it was just way too fun. And I haven't even sold like a quarter of them. And I have 32 raw div and 1200 chaos. That's insane. I'm going to go back to editing now and post this, but this is insane. Alright, that is it and that is all. This is probably going to be the best currency farm strat that I've ever done. So I'm going to title this video, The Best Currency Farming Strat in all of Phrecia League. DS Lily, please don't hurt me. Goodbye.